The laughter hits her like cold water. 1,000 people in gold and diamonds, and every one of them is laughing at the woman in the wine-red dress standing alone in the middle of the floor. She does not run. She does not cry, though her eyes are burning. She lifts her chin and lets them laugh, because she has been laughed at before and she has learned that the only thing worse than their cruelty is letting them see it land. What none of them know is that the most dangerous man in this city has just stopped laughing. And then the laughter dies. Not slowly. All at once, the way sound vanishes when a room realizes it has made a terrible mistake. A man is crossing the floor. He does not hurry. He does not speak. He moves through the crowd and the crowd peels away from him like he is something that should not be touched. And the people who were laughing a second ago are now staring at the marble, suddenly fascinated by their own shoes. Nadia feels the shift before she sees the cause. The air itself has changed temperature. He stops in front of her. He takes her hand, the one she did not offer, and he turns it over in his like it belongs to him. And then, in front of the woman who just told her she would never belong in a room like this, in front of 1,000 people who were laughing one breath ago, he slides a ring onto her finger that costs more than the building they are standing in. The room does not breathe. Nadia looks down at her own hand and feels the floor tilt because she knows this ring. She has seen it before. But to understand the ring, you have to go back. 3 years back, to a different night, a different room, a colder light. Long before the gala, before the laughter, before the most feared name in the city was ever spoken over Nadia Okonkwo's hand, there was an airport gate at the far edge of the city, and a goodbye that broke her into pieces she spent 3 years gluing back together. Everything that happens tonight, every cruel laugh and every silent gasp, begins here, with a man walking away. 3 years ago, she stood at a gate, exactly like this one, and watched the only man she had ever trusted walk away from her without turning around. On her finger that night was a rose gold ring with a single dark sapphire, the same ring that just appeared on her hand in a ballroom 3 years later. He did not explain. He did not slow down. He gave her one look over his shoulder, a look she has spent 3 years failing to forget, and then the corridor swallowed him whole. What she did not know was that every step he took away from her cost him more than it cost her. He walked with his hands closed into fists so she would not see them shake. He left because staying would have painted a target on her the size of the city, and the only way to keep her breathing was to make her believe he had never loved her at all. He told himself she would hate him. He hoped she would. Hatred is survivable. The truth was not. Now bring it forward. 3 years of silence later, the Lantern Festival burns gold over Seoul, thousands of small fires floating against a black sky, and Nadia Okonkwo walks beneath them toward a building she was never meant to enter. The wine-red gown took her 4 months to save for. She has a job to do tonight, a real one, a careful one, a secret one, and she has told no one why she is truly here. Not her friends, not the people paying her, not the woman who is about to try to break her in front of the entire city. The venue rises out of the dark like something that does not want to be looked at directly. Marble, black doors, brass lamps throwing gold across cold stone. The people climbing those stairs were born into rooms like this one. Nadia was not. She climbs anyway, one careful step at a time, spine straight, face giving away nothing. She learned a long time ago that the trick to walking into a place built to spit you out is simple. You look like you already own the floor beneath your feet, and you never once let them see you doubt it. Inside, the room is a held breath made of money, and there is exactly one person in it she trusts. Lola Adebayo finds her near the windows, slips a warm hand around her arm, and for a moment Nadia lets her shoulders drop an inch. Lola has been beside her through everything. Through the airport, through the year she could barely get out of bed, through the slow, grinding climb back to a woman who could stand in a room like this and not flinch. Lola squeezes her arm and tells her she looks like she belongs here. If Nadia had been watching her friend's face instead of the room, she might have caught it. The small flicker, the way Lola's eyes cut to the far doors and away again, the way her smile held a half second too long. But Nadia was not watching. Why would she be? In a room full of people who would cut her open for sport, Lola was the one face she never thought to read. Remember that. It matters more than anything else you will see tonight. She just did not know it yet. And then the temperature in the room drops. Nadia feels it before she sees it, the way you feel a draft before you find the open window. Bianca Moyo moves through the crowd in emerald green satin like a blade through silk, and her eyes have already found their mark. They have known each other since university. Bianca has spent those years collecting small cruelties the way other people collect jewelry, and her favorite piece, the one she takes out whenever she needs to feel taller, has always been the same. It has always been Nadia. Bianca stops in front of her, close enough that the nearby conversations begin to die. People can smell blood at a party like this, and they drift in without meaning to, a slow, tightening circle of perfume and gold and appetite. Bianca looks her up and down, slow, deliberate, letting the silence cut first. Then she tilts her head, and her smile widens into something with teeth. Nadia does not move. Her pulse climbs into her throat, but her face stays a closed door. The room is listening now. Not all of it, but enough. Enough faces have turned, enough conversations have softened to nothing that whatever comes next will have an audience. Bianca knows it. Bianca lives for it. She has never once humiliated Nadia in private, because cruelty without witnesses is just a feeling, and she has always preferred the kind that leaves a mark on the record. She lifts her chin so her voice will carry. Bianca laughs first, a bright, carrying performance of a laugh. The kind built to make other people laugh along before they even know what is funny. She looks Nadia over one more time. The wine-red gown, the careful halo of curls, the 4 months of saved-up dignity, and she says it loud enough for the back of the room to hear. Peaked as the chubby one, huh? She lets it land. Then she twists the knife deeper. You really thought a dress would change what you are. And the room laughs. Not everyone, but enough of them, and loud enough, that it fills the space and bounces off the marble and comes at Nadia from every direction at once. This room was never going to be yours, Bianca says into the laughter, and you should be grateful anyone let you through the door. The words hit a place in Nadia that 3 years of work had almost healed over. Almost. The laughter pries it back open. But Nadia does not break. She lifts her chin and she lets them laugh, because she has been here before, and she has learned the cruelest lesson of all. The only thing worse than their laughter is letting them see it land. So she holds. Her eyes burn, and her throat aches, and the floor feels like it might open up beneath her. And still she holds, because the woman she has become does not give people like Bianca the satisfaction of her tears. Look at her standing there. One woman against a room that decided long ago she was not enough, and she will not give them the tears they came for. If you are still here, watching Nadia stand in that room while the whole world decides she is not enough, then you already understand what this channel is about. Stories where the woman everyone wrote off is the one holding all the power by the end. If that is the kind of story you came for, subscribe and tell us you want more of it. Every subscriber is how we know these stories are landing, and it is the only reason we can keep building them for you. So tap subscribe and stay with Nadia. What happens to her next is the part nobody saw coming. Across the room, one man is not laughing. He has been still for a long moment now, a glass forgotten in his hand, and the temperature of his expression has dropped to something that should frighten everyone near him. Kang Tae-Joon has watched the whole thing. He watched the circle close. He watched the laughter come. He watched the woman in the wine-red gown refuse to break, and something in his chest that has been frozen for 3 years has just cracked straight down the middle. Seo Min-ho is at his side in an instant. Low and urgent, because Min-ho has seen this exact stillness in Tae-Joon before, and he knows what comes after it. He says the word carefully, not here. Too many eyes. Whatever this is, do it quiet. But Tae-Joon is not listening anymore. He sets the glass down on a passing tray without looking at it, and he steps off the edge of the room toward the center, and Min-ho exhales the breath of a man who knows the night just changed. He crosses the floor and the floor gives way to him. He does not hurry. He does not speak. He moves through the crowd and the crowd peels back from him like he is something that should not be touched, and the laughter that filled the room a moment ago dries up in throat after throat as people register who is walking and where he is walking to. By the time he is halfway across, the room has gone silent. By the time he is close, even Bianca has stopped smiling. Bianca's smile dies in stages. First, the confusion, the small frown of someone whose audience has stopped watching her. Then she follows the room's stare and sees what is coming, and the color leaves her face by degrees. She knows that face. Everyone in this city knows that face. It is the one name you do not say above a whisper, the one man whose attention is a thing people pray never to attract, and he is walking, unmistakably, straight toward the woman she was just laughing at. And then he is in front of her, and the world narrows to the space between them. 3 years. 3 years she spent teaching herself the shape of his absence, learning to sleep on the empty side of every bed, training her own heart not to leap at every tall man in a dark suit. And now here he is, close enough to touch, and her body betrays every lesson she taught it. Her breath catches. Her pulse slams against the base of her throat. She looks up into the face she swore she had forgotten, and finds that she has forgotten nothing. Not the cold eyes, not the line of his jaw, not the way the whole world goes quiet when he decides to look at her. 100 things move across her face in the space of a single breath. The shock first, then under it the anger, the old clean fury at the man who walked away from her without a word and let her grieve him like a death. And under that, in a place she hates herself for, the thing she has never been able to kill, the pull. The terrible, helpless pull toward him that 3 years and an ocean of pain never managed to drown. She hates that it is still there. She hates that her first instinct, before her mind catches up, is not to step back but to step closer. He reaches down and takes her hand. Not gently asking, not waiting for permission. He takes the hand she did not offer and turns it over in his, slow and certain, like it is a thing that has always belonged to him and he is simply collecting what is his. His thumb moves once across her knuckles, and the touch goes through her like a current, lighting up nerves she had convinced herself were dead. The whole room is watching. She knows the whole room is watching, and still she cannot make herself pull away. And then, in front of the woman who just told her she would never belong, in front of 1,000 people who were laughing one breath ago, he slides a ring onto her finger. It goes on slow. It goes on like a vow. The metal is cool against her skin and the weight of it settles on her hand like an anchor dropping, and the room makes a single collective sound, a sharp inward gasp, and then nothing at all. Silence. Complete, total, ringing silence. Nadia stares down at her own hand and the floor tilts beneath her feet, because she knows this ring. She knows this ring. She would know it in the dark, by touch alone, after 100 years. Rose gold, a single dark sapphire, a vine pattern engraved so fine you have to hold it to the light to see it. It is the ring she wore the night he left her at that airport gate. The ring she was told in the worst week of her life had been lost forever. She has mourned this ring the way you mourn a person. And it is here, on her hand, which means he has been carrying it for 3 years. Which means every single thing she believed about that night is about to come apart. The room comes back to life all at once. But quieter now. Lower. A current of whispers running through the gold like wind through dry grass. Heads bend toward each other. Names are passed mouth to mouth. The most feared man in the city has just put a ring on a woman nobody here can place, in front of all of them, and not one person in this room understands what they have witnessed. The laughter from a minute ago feels like it happened in another life. Now there is only the question burning in every mind. Who is she to him? But Bianca cannot let it stand. She has built her whole night, her whole reputation, on being the one who put Nadia in her place, and now the most powerful man in the room has rewritten the story in front of everyone. Her panic curdles into something uglier. She turns and snaps her fingers toward the edge of the crowd, calling for the one weapon her family always keeps close, a lawyer. She is going to prove this is a fraud. She is going to prove the woman in the wine-red dress has no right to that ring, no claim, no place. She has no idea what she is about to unlock. Be honest with me for a second. If you are still watching, you already know Bianca just made a mistake she cannot take back. So do one quick thing for me. Drop the one emoji that matches exactly how you feel watching this unfold right now. And while you are down there, tell me where in the world you are watching from and what time it is where you are. I read these. If you are watching this on your TV, reach over and hit that like button so I know you are in the room with us. Now keep your eyes on Tae-Joon, because the man is about to do something this room will never recover from. The lawyer moves fast. Within a minute there is a document in Bianca's hand, pulled from the family's records, and she lifts it high so the room can see her win. She has the registry. She has the proof. She is going to read out, in front of everyone, exactly who this nobody is and exactly why she has no business wearing a ring that belongs in this world. Her voice is steady with triumph as she begins, and then her eyes drop to the page, and the triumph drains out of her face one word at a time. The page she meant to use as a blade turns into one held against her own throat. Because the registry does not say what she expected. It does not say Nadia is a stranger, an interloper, a woman with no claim. It says the opposite. It says that 3 years ago, quietly, legally, with 2 signatures and no witnesses anyone remembers, Kang Tae-Joon married Nadia Okonkwo. The woman Bianca has spent the whole night humiliating is not the mafia boss's fiancée. She is his wife. She has been his wife the entire time. And the document in Bianca's shaking hand is the proof. But the person most destroyed by that word is not Bianca. It is Nadia. Because Nadia did not know either. She remembers a night 3 years ago, a small office, a man she loved telling her to sign here and here, his voice low and urgent, saying it was paperwork to protect her, saying he would explain everything later. Later never came. He left her at a gate 4 days afterward and vanished, and she filed that strange night away as one more thing she would never understand about him. She did not know she had signed her own marriage. She did not know she had been his wife through every single day of the grief that followed. Tae-Joon turns to the room. One hand settles at the small of Nadia's back, and he speaks for the first time, low and even, every word landing like a stone in still water. "This is my wife," he says. Anyone who forgot that tonight should be careful not to forget it again. And that is the exact moment the lights go out. Not a flicker. All of them at once, the whole room dropping into black between one breath and the next. The chandeliers die, the gold vanishes, and in the dark, before anyone can even scream, Nadia feels Tae-Joon's hand close hard around hers. The room detonates into panic. 1,000 people in the dark, and the screaming starts, and the sound of chairs going over and glass shattering and bodies colliding with bodies fills the black. Somewhere a woman shrieks. Somewhere a table crashes down. The most powerful people in the city, reduced in an instant to a stampede of fear. Tae-Joon moves on instinct, dragging Nadia in against his chest, wrapping his body around hers like a shield. His voice is at her ear, hard and fast. "Stay with me. Do not let go of my hand no matter what happens." And Nadia, who swore 3 years ago she would never trust this man again, holds on with everything she has. Minho is already there, a wall of muscle between them and the dark, his hands moving with a speed that does not belong to a man his size. He shouts one word across the chaos to Tae-Joon. They came for her. And in those 3 words is the whole terrible truth of the night. The ring made her a target. Putting it on her hand in public told every enemy he has exactly where his heart was standing. And there, in the strobing dark, the truth peels back another layer. The woman the whole room believed was on Tae-Joon's arm tonight, the elegant stranger everyone assumed he would marry, stands calm in the middle of the panic. She is not afraid. She is working. She passes a small device into a waiting hand, and her cold eyes track Nadia through the dark. She has been playing both sides all along. Nadia sees it. Through the panic and the dark, she sees the woman pass the device, sees the cold, tracking eyes, and 3 years of learning to read a room from its edges pay off all at once. Whatever is happening tonight, it was planned. The attack, the blackout, the timing. Someone wanted Tae-Joon here, exposed, with the one thing he would die to protect finally out in the open. Tae-Joon pulls her toward the side of the room, away from the worst of it, Minho carving a path ahead of them through the dark. They reach a quiet alcove off the main floor where the screaming dulls to a muffled roar behind the drapes, and for 1 second, one stolen second, it is just the 2 of them and the truth that has been waiting 3 years to be spoken. She rounds on him in the half-dark. 3 years, she says, and her voice shakes with everything she has held. "You let me grieve you. You let me think you stopped loving me." And he looks at her with a face that has not let itself feel anything in 3 years, and he says the thing he swore he would carry to his grave. "I did not leave to save myself, Nadia. I left to save what we made, what we made." The words do not make sense. They cannot make sense. Because the only thing they ever made together died 3 years ago, in the worst week of her life, in the days right after that airport gate. She was told. She held the grief in her own 2 hands. She built her whole broken self around the shape of that loss. What we made. Her lips form the question she is terrified to ask. He takes both her hands. "The child did not die," he says, and the words crack straight down the middle. "She lived, Nadia. She has always lived. They told you she was gone because if my enemies had known a child of mine was breathing somewhere in this world, they would have hunted her to the ends of the earth. I sent her away to keep her alive. I let you hate me to keep her hidden. Every day for 3 years, she has been safe. 3 years of grief comes apart in her chest all at once. The loss she built her whole life around was a lie. Her daughter is alive. Somewhere out there, breathing, her child is alive, and Nadia's knees nearly give beneath her. And just as the truth settles into her, Just as she lets herself believe it, the muffled chaos beyond the drapes shifts, and a door at the far end of the alcove begins to open. The door opens, and a small girl steps through, holding the hand of the one person Nadia trusts most in all the world, Lola. Lola is leading the child, a little girl with soft dark curls and Tae-Joon's eyes and Nadia's mouth, looking up at the room with shy wonder. Nadia's whole body goes still, her daughter. Her living daughter here, real, 10 feet away. And then her eyes lift from the child to her best friend's face, and Lola is not surprised. That is the thing that stops Nadia's heart. Lola is not shocked, not confused, not frightened. Lola's face is calm, steady. The face of someone who is not learning a secret right now, but who has been keeping one for 3 years. Every day of Nadia's grief, every night she held her friend while she cried for a daughter she thought was dead, Lola knew. Lola knew exactly where the child was. The lie did not come from her enemies. It came from the one person she never thought to doubt. The whole world Nadia rebuilt out of that lie, every brick of the woman she became, sits on a foundation her best friend poured. She does not have the words. There are no words. There is only the child between them, and the man behind her, and the one face she trusted above all others looking back at her without a trace of apology. If you need to know what she does next, comment part 2, and I will know you are ready.